This is the Rolling with Tay podcast. I'm your host, Tasia, aka Tay, and on this episode, have a really dope individual. She's a wife, she's a mother, entrepreneur, gardener, on her way to homesteading. She'll talk about all that. Welcome, Joanne. Welcome to my podcast.
Hey, thank you so much for having me, Tay. So excited to be here and talk all things gardening. Why you laughing?
Listen. Since last year, I spoke to my friend Kate. I had him on the show, and he's so passionate about gardening. And I went and after that conversation, I ordered some stuff from Amazon, went and got me some seeds, started growing some stuff, and I loved it until everything kind of died. I went away and then came back. Stuff was dead, but I'm back. New season, right? And then I was talking to your husband, Tony, one of my good friends, and he was like, yo, my wife she loves talking about gardening. I was like, all right, then let's bring on the show. So again,
Yes.
welcome.
Thank
I want to
you.
hear all about it. First thing I want to ask you.
Sure, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Well,
no,
I was going
go.
to ask you, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. I am having a bit of separation anxiety. The family and I are away for spring break on vacation, and I don't have a nanny cam for my plants. So I'm just wondering what's happening with them right now. I need to know. Before we left, I planted some eggplant seeds as well as some strawberries that I planted from roots, and I just want to know what's happening at home right now. They have become a part of my daily routine. From when I wake up in the morning, I bring my little one and we go and check the plants. What's going on with the plants? Let's water them. Let's give them sunlight. If anything needs to be pruned, let's prune them. Let's talk to them. Let's give them life, and that's how we start our day. So just wondering what's happening. Are they growing? Are they dying? Are they thirsty? Do they miss me? That's where I'm at with it.
Right. I'm wondering that too. I'm on a vacation as well. And
Nice.
I watered them a little bit, and I'm like, hopefully
Y'all will be
good.
good.
When I get back, they'll still be alive.
Yes, it's like that. They're your kids. They're really your children. And when you mentioned you were growing things and then they died and it was kind of hard to get it back up. That's one of the things that I love about gardening is that even if it dies, it still has a use, right? That organic matter of the plant dying off, you can use that in the soil to go ahead and make the soil rich and grow something else from it. So it's the regeneration, the whole full circle lifestyle of gardening is something I really, really enjoy. And just seeing what I could pull in to make the garden flourish, make them grow faster, make them more vibrant, make the fruit grow. So it's just been from start to finish, just absorbing information every day. And I had no idea what I should be doing when I started it. So it's just learning as you go and just feeding yourself information and sharing it with the children. It's just been a really, really great journey.
Oh, okay. So how did this journey begin? What sparked your interest?
Okay, so there were so many things I feel and I think that's what confirms something that's destined for you, right? You have so many arrows pointing to it. As I was raised vegan, for one, my family was strict vegetarians. I strayed away a bit from that, but it was something that I always had a value for health and consuming vegetables. I always understood your dinner plate is probably going to be 75% vegetables anyway, starches, grains, and things like that. So always wanted to experiment with different vegetables and cooking. I love to cook. So just exploring things like that, right? And then Tony and I were just talking about our next steps in life. What do we want to do as far as buying a home, and how do we want to shape our children's lives and our lifestyles? What do we want to expose them to, and what type of core values we want to instill in them? And health and good eating is one of those things that I'm just like
Mm-hmm.
really strong about. Like, explore food and make it be an experience. If you're traveling to a different country, that food should provide a different experience for you. And being abroad, you'll notice like the things that they do with vegetables is just different. Like, fresh herbs are like, they don't may not use
Mm-hmm.
like dry seasons. They're using fresh herbs and oils and other vegetables and spices to season their food. And I just like having a passion for that was one, right? And then it's like, okay, well, we started watching videos about homesteading and owning land, owning chickens and cows and things like that. I'm just like, this is a lot. How will I do this while I work and run a business and take care of kids and do all these other things I have to do? But I began to see families that incorporated it as a lifestyle and
Mm-hmm.
trying to figure out what that means to me, because I got so intimidated about the whole process. I'm just like, well, how are we going to be able to do all that? And I think one of the YouTubers I was watching was just explaining it like, you have to define what homesteading means for you. You know,
Right.
if you are finding a way to be self-sufficient in one way or another, maybe it's your milk that you provide for yourself. Maybe it's your vegetables. Maybe it's just your herbs that you have in your windowsill. Like, that's homesteading. You know, that's the start of it. If you want to go full self-sufficiency, you can do that as well. Of course, it'll be a bigger effort having cattle, having, you know, meat chickens and egg layers and goats and things. That's more than what I'm willing to chew at this point. Who knows? Because once you get into it, it's like, okay, maybe we could get a
Right.
pig or something, you know?
Right.
So right now I'm just at like having a full vegetable garden, having a full tea garden, having a pharmacy of just medicinal herbs, having like a
Mm.
flower garden where I just sit and read to my children and just have pollinators flying around, butterflies and things like that. Having some chickens that lay eggs for us, or meat chickens where we eat a lot of chicken, a lot of poultry, maybe
Yeah.
some ducks, you know, because I just wanted to really source our food. You know, I only want to like buy 25% of what we're going to be consuming. So that's the long term goal. And just recognizing changes in my children from eating a lot of fast food. We're on a run, and how it could be affecting them, how it's affecting me and my body, and just
Right.
wanting to just put more natural, you know, food where it comes, knowing where it comes from, for the kids, the hormones and chicken and stuff like that, and how it makes the girls develop a little bit faster, like, you know, all those things were under consideration. So hearing someone tell me that I could define how homesteading looked, I think that's what really helped me to jump right in. And then so I joined a group called Black Women Homesteaders, or I think that's what it's called. It's on Facebook, and this group grew like over like 20,000 members in about 3 days of me joining it. Like, it exploded on Facebook to where they had to like screen people. They were kicking people out. Like, wait a minute, you ain't brown. Like, this is for us. Like, I was like, I love this, because it was so many different types of like Black women in the group. You had your corporate women, you had your stay-at-home moms, you had your Christian women, you got your Israelites up in there, you got your Muslim sisters. Like, you got some of everybody in there, but the common goal is to help each other elevate in the homesteading journey and be supportive of each other and share secrets on how to do things. And it's just like
Mm-hmm.
one of the best groups that I've ever joined on Facebook. So from there, I start to see people do their thing. And I was telling my husband, I was telling Tony, like, listen, look at all these Black women coming together doing their thing. Like, oh, I can't wait till I have this, and I can't wait till I have that, so I can start. And one of the ladies was talking, like, she's like, oh, everybody started buying seeds. And I think that was like January, February. Like, guys, we
Mm-hmm.
got to get ready for the season. And I'm like, okay, we got to get ready for the season. And they're like, you got to go to Dollar Tree and buy seeds, because Dollar Tree has some of the best seeds. So I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
okay. So I grabbed my girls. I'm like, come on, y'all, we going to Dollar Tree. They're like, what? I'm like, yeah, we're going to get some seeds. So I took my girlies, and I was like, pick any seeds that you want. Get whatever you want. So I just started throwing them in the bag, because they were like 99 cents. They were super cheap. And when I came home, I ordered from Amazon a seed starter kit with the light, and it took from there. Like, I just started growing stuff. I had no idea what I was doing. I had a tray that was so like overseeded. It was like so many plants growing in one tray because I didn't realize you only need to plant one seed per cell.
Yeah.
And so it just kind of went crazy. But it was one of those things like, if you want to do it, just do it. Start somewhere. You know, if you're scared to start, if you're scared to do it, just do it scared. You know, just go and learn along the way. And from there, I now have like what I like to call my dining room garden, which includes corn stalks, which are growing. Yes, they're about 3 feet tall now. I have corn. I have jelly bean tomatoes, beefsteak tomatoes. I have cucumbers, squash, two types of squash. I have pole beans. I have string beans, pole beans, bush beans. I have three types of hot pepper: piñata, salsa, and jalapeno. I also have green bell pepper growing, strawberries and eggplant now, radish and carrots, all in the corner of my dining room because I started researching indoor gardening. And I'm like, how
Mm-hmm.
can I do this? Because the cells were filling up and the plants were sprouting, and I'm like, they can't survive in these small cells like this for too much longer. So now what do I need to do? Right? So YouTube University was what helped me. Because it was like, okay, well, y'all said, you're going to learn as you go. So I'm at this point. What should I be doing now?
Right.
And that's what happened. So I started researching container gardening, because I live in an apartment and I have access to a backyard, but there are a lot of like raccoons and squirrels and
Mm-hmm.
all types of bugs and stuff that I just was not ready to deal with. So I'm like, okay, this has to happen indoors. And so I learned about container gardening, how to pollinate your plants without having bees in the house, like how to hand pollinate them,
Mm.
when to move them out of the seedlings packs to the bigger containers, what can grow with what, how much soil. I ordered some alpaca poop fertilizer from Arizona. I was like, if I'm gonna do it,
I'm going to do it.
exactly. I'm gonna like really get into it. So I have like manure, like the cow compost, the grow lights, like everything, and that's just my start. So like I mentioned earlier, like I want to do way more of an expansive garden where my children can go out and pick what they want for lunch and can go get their snacks, and we know how to use these things because we know, like, when you have a big harvest, you have to then preserve.
Right.
So you're not going to be able to eat everything, and you don't want it to go to waste. You can give some stuff away, but that's an opportunity for you to build up your reserves, right?
Mm-hmm.
All those tomatoes, you got to make pasta, salsa, ketchup, barbecue sauce, hot sauce. There's a bunch of things you can make. You can also freeze dry it. Make your soups and freeze dry them for however long. I think someone said like 20 years you can freeze dry soup. And when I saw that, I was so fascinated with the idea that in my old age, I could perfect a recipe and have my great great grandchildren be able to
Mm.
taste it and know
Yeah.
that that was something that I made for them and they may have never met me. And I
Right.
just thought that was like, wow, that's something I have to do. So learning how to preserve food became more of not a self-sufficiency thing because I just believe that I'll always be provided for, but more of a legacy thing to be able to
Mm.
share with my generations to come because I'm always thinking of them. So I thought that was a really, really cool thing. Like, I'm like, okay, so where do we get the dehydrated from? Because I need a freeze dryer. I need a deep freeze. I'm telling Tony, like, listen, my Amazon cart is going crazy. Like, it's like, what are you talking about? So he would come home and I'm on the homesteading videos like nonstop, absorbing all this information because I need to know what we need to do and I have to be able to teach the kids too. So whatever I'm learning, like I want them to
Exactly.
learn. So we were doing like a crops project where each kid had something that they need to research. So Zoe was doing potatoes, and I had Jade, she's doing raspberries. Ariel's going to be over like the chicken coop because she's really good with animals. She loves animals. So, and then I want Aubrey to do a butterfly garden because she's just very delicate and just like she pays so much attention to detail and she's very attentive. So, like we can build her a butterfly sanctuary. So of course, all these spaces require some space, right? So we were
Yeah.
talking about where we want to live. So it's like, okay, we have to find somewhere we can have some acreage, where we can own some land. That the trade off is going to be way bigger than like maybe living in New York where you can barely get a backyard. You know, we're going to have to migrate somewhere where the children have better school system, where they can bring their lunch from home, and nobody's going to be like,
Right.
oh, you got the tomato wrap. Where's your chopped cheese at? Because my daughter, every day, she's like, oh, Mom, can we stop at the deli? I want to get a chopped cheese. And I'm like, you really should not eat that. Like, you should not be eating that. That's not, you don't know what that is. But our neighbor
Right.
down the street who has the beef cow, okay, we can get the ground beef from him and you can make chopped cheese at home and take it with you. And she was just like,
Mm.
oh, you really into this, huh? Yes, yes, I am. Just want to be in alignment with what works with our bodies, and just
Mm-hmm.
being more conscious about what we consume and just knowing where it comes from. And then you have a deeper appreciation. Before we left for vacation, it was a harvest, make my first harvest on my my bush bean. It was one sorry string bean.
I saw it. I saw it.
But I'm like, I grew that. I
Right.
brought that to life, you know. Y'all watered it. We did this together and we made it. And this is our first one, but it's the first of many. So we're looking forward to seeing like where it goes. But that's the roadmap.
But listen, that is great. Oh my gosh. Um, I'm excited. You're doing a lot.
Yeah, that's
You're
what I'm saying.
doing a
Like
lot.
I am full of the whole, because it's gardening, but it's also like lifestyle. Because
Mm,
watching these videos help you to understand how the ecosystem feeds itself. You
mm-hmm.
know how, okay, you have chickens on the farm and you're growing jalapenos. Well, you can't eat all those jalapenos. How much sauce are you going to make? But it helps the chickens to keep parasites out of their body. It kills the parasites
Mm,
inside the chicken, so that helps to keep your chickens healthy. You have like scraps and stuff from your refrigerator. Chickens eat that too. You know what they're eating, so you know what you'll be eating later on, and that they're healthy. And then they also help walk through the farm with you. They eat all the little bugs and little pests that might come for your crops. And then like their eggs, you consume their eggs and you use their eggshells as fertilizer. You know, so it's just like everything helps to sustain everything. And I just think that's so beautiful. It's helped just to contribute to like cut down on food waste, just waste
mm-hmm.
period, pollution, all that stuff. And just have my children have a deeper value, you know, for life and where things come from, and just have a commitment to giving themselves more than what's fast. Because of course, like
Right.
you know, garden it doesn't take overnight. Like it takes a while.
Yep.
I'm like, we waiting how long for this one regular string bean? Like what's up with that? But it, you know, it's about patience and it's about like really putting in the work. So when you do have that harvest, it can last a full year. I watched a video with a family who they built their own root cellar, and a root cellar is just like a concrete room that keeps all the light and moisture out, and you can
Mm-hmm.
put your potatoes and your onions and everything down there, and it can last up to a year. I was blown away. I was like, really? How much do it cost to build? Because you get exposure to all these things, and you just want to really immerse into the lifestyle. Now, I like spending money just as much as anybody, so I want to make my money. I want to shop. I want to do, you know, things that I want. But coming from such a healthy and positive space, it's only going to enrich the things that I want to do.
Right.
So yes. It's a big deal. Like looking for land where you can have chickens, looking for land that offers you enough space to build your swimming pool and to build your different gardens and to have the different spaces. It's something that takes time, and I just believe like when we find it, I know it'll be the right time. But it's interesting to see what people do. On our way on vacation, we stopped at a store called Tractor Supply, and in Tractor Supply they have all the gardening stuff like for outdoors or whatever, and they also have like baby ducks and baby chicks back there. So of course I took the kids to see them. I'm like, oh wow, you could just buy them just like you buy a case of water. And coming from Queens, I'm like, I've never seen this before. Y'all just selling them out here like that. But there was a lady in there with her daughter, and her daughter was like, "No more, mom. That's enough." And I was like, "Well, how many do you have?" And she was like, "I have 6 ducks and 4 chickens, and I have a rooster." And I was like, "Wow, like that's great." And I could hear her accent, so I know she came from the city. I was just like, "Wow, like people are really." Understanding that they could live a different lifestyle, and it's okay to break away from what the norm is and just to
Right.
have give yourself a different experience. So, that's just what I desire to do.
That's so dope. That is so dope. Like I would want to farm too, but then I don't know if I want to like eat my animals because then they're like part of the family now. It's like I'm going
Yes,
out there every morning to say hi to my pig
right.
Ben, and then now I want some bacon. I got to kill Ben. I don't know.
Yes, the emotional attachment is real, and that's what I was telling the children. Like, we don't name the meat chickens. We'll have a lot of meat chickens because that's what we have to eat for the year. But our laying chickens, like the one who lay the eggs,
Yeah,
we can name them because they'll be around. But we
exactly.
will be eating their children, and that ain't good. But we don't have to come to terms with that some sort of way. Like, but the laying chickens, we can name them; they'll be around. And then also you have cats too. Like you can have farm cats that like
Mm,
live outside, feral cats that keep the mice away, keep the snakes and stuff away. Because I'm not interested in seeing anything that's crawling without legs. Like you keep that
exactly.
because where are your legs at? You shouldn't be here. So I need like some guard cats to help run the farm. The roosters run the farm too, so they like run the chickens. They let them know like,
Mm,
hey, y'all get y'all asses back inside, like or there's a hawk flying up, like we got to go, like they really look out. So like I say, every part of it helps itself. Like they all
right.
sustain each other if you line it up right. So just learning how that works, it just pulls me deeper. It just pulls me deeper into it. Like this is something we must do. And starting it was just my dining room garden, just starting to plant some things and watching them grow. And I'm like, wow, okay, I can really grow stuff. Nothing really died. I had some losses, but it's like for the most part, what I wanted to have is here and thriving.
That's so beautiful. That's so beautiful. And you're right. You just have to start. And that's with anything. With anything, just start. Just start with
Yes,
one seed and watch it grow. And then you get excited. Like you said, I was getting
yes,
excited. I was like, put these seeds in. Let's see what happens. Started watering them, looking at them. Come back next morning, nothing yet. Okay. 2 days
yes,
later, I see a little. I'm like, look at this. Look, you can't tell me nothing. I'm taking pictures. I'm sending it to people.
yes.
It's
It's
a little
like
leaf.
that. It's so
Oh,
like that. Like you see that first seedling pop up. You're watching it every day because it's like, oh, I can see it. It's coming up. And then the next day, it's standing up tall. It's like, wow. When I went to sleep,
right,
this is what you was doing. That's
right.
crazy. Yes. So
That
it becomes
is.
infectious. Yes.
So I saw on your TikTok, I think you were giving away like starts to your sister.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
So
First of all, I
are you
should
getting
ask her
other
how they're
people?
doing. Because I'm scared. I don't want to hear no bad news. But yes, like I said, it's infectious. So of course, anybody who asks me like, "What's up? What you been up to?" I've been up to plants, and you should get into this. but she had an interest in starting a garden. We're always sending each other garden stuff like on Instagram and stuff like that. I had an overflow of seedlings like tomato, cucumber, and squash seedlings and pepper ones. So I'm like, hey, the spring is coming. I have some seedlings that are ready to go outside. Do you want some? And she was just overjoyed and more than happy to take them off my
Mm.
hands. So I'm gonna ask her. I'm gonna get the courage to ask because she haven't sent me no pictures yet. But I'm gonna ask her how are they doing? Do you need me to come over and help them out or whatever? But I think she would do well. Another thing I noticed is like I love to hit the peace pipe. And I haven't since I started growing. I think it's just something that really just takes my mind and does something else with it. Like at
Mm-hmm.
the end of my day, I would hit that pen and go and relax. Now it's like at the end of my day, I gotta go check my plants. I need to
Right.
trim them. I need to make sure they're good, fertilizer, feed them, whatever. I need to just stand here and look at them and watch them and see what's different from yesterday. And it has such a calming effect where I'm really decompressing.
Mm-hmm.
I have two under two at home and I work from home. So my days are pretty long. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes as soon as Tony come home, here's your babies. Take them back there. I got to deal with my plants. And he'll keep them back there. And I can just work on my plants and get my mind together. And it's so helpful. It's so therapeutic.
Yeah.
I just wish I would have found this as a hobby or lifestyle way sooner.
Okay, so you got your sister into it.
Yes.
Um, do you see getting others into it? Because I know you're already a part of a Facebook group. Do you see like branching off and doing your own thing, like more locally? Maybe starting a meetup or, maybe just starting your own little Facebook group. Do you see something like that happening?
Sure, like I guess the way that I would look at it, as like maybe just sharing what I know or sharing my journey, like or in a YouTube avenue, like where
Mm,
I could just meet people via YouTube by just sharing my way that I did things, because I feel like people living in apartments or people living in the city don't know that they can start, how small they can start or what they can start with, just like I did. Like I felt like I needed to like move and have a house with a huge backyard in order to like start gardening and feed my family. And that's not the case. And I just would like to be able to inspire people to start wherever they are. And I know that that goal will change the further I go with it. It will develop even into something more because the more I learn, the more I will want to share. So at this little baby beginner stage, it's more like, oh, okay, well, I like to educate people on how I started.
mhm,
And just communicate with more people in the groups and stuff like that because I just don't feel like I'm the person that knows all enough to teach, but I just only know what I know, and I'm always willing to share that, with people. So I think that is definitely where I start, like with a nice little YouTube channel. Once I get my good harvest going, and then I have an upcoming garden redesign that I want to do in my dining room,
mhm.
and then plan to like share that with TikTok because I often share with TikTok about my plans, just because I find that like you said, like you want to check on them, you grow this emotional connection to your plants, and I feel like that audience is really there on TikTok, and there's an opportunity to, I guess, connect and really have some representation of women living in the city or black women or just stay-at-home moms or working moms, working from home moms, to have an outlet, and that this is the outlet for me. For a while I didn't have like just dealing with the babies excuse me, I didn't have what I felt like was an outlet for
Yeah.
myself. So it's like, this is something that is about me. It's for me. Yes, my family can reap the benefits, but this is something I could fully immerse myself into and get lost in. And I love that. And I want that to be something that other moms or other people can jump into as well. Because I just feel like it's Amazing. And I feel like anybody thinks that way about their hobby, like, oh, my hobby's the best, like my husband with the cars and stuff like that. But like me,
Yeah.
I'm like, no, gardening is where it's at, baby. Like it's just there. Like just watching something grow, it's nothing like it. But yeah. Down the line, I do feel like it will definitely develop into something bigger. Like I said, when I learn more, I can share more. But I think that's just where I'm headed for now.
And you know what? It has so many benefits, right? Like, of course, I think like the hobbies that I do are like the best, but gardening, like
Yeah.
since starting it, I'm like, it does have so many benefits. It has so
Yes.
many benefits. Just being able to go out and pick a tomato from
Yes.
your garden and, eat your tomato that you grew.
Yes. Yes.
That's, that is amazing, right? You save money.
The feeling.
With most hobbies.
And that's the debate right there. Like, are you saving money? Because it
Yeah.
does get expensive, right? There are a lot of people on YouTube who talk about like more cost effective ways to garden, like just using like
Mhm.
random things that you already have to like start growing food. Me, I'm more of like, oh, I need new pots and I need this and I need this,
Ah,
but that's just me, that's just what I like to do. So I don't mind. But I feel like grabbing that tomato off a vine that you grew and tasting it is just it's worth whatever you want to spend. It's worth your time. It's worth your money. It's worth your effort, your blood, sweat, and tears. It's worth that. For one, it's going
mhm.
to taste different. It's going to taste like the best tomato you ever ate. For two, you know exactly where it comes from. It's fresh, pesticide
Right.
free. I just have that vision of just seeing my kids go out barefoot
Mhm.
and pick what they want and bring it back in and preparing it like I feel like that's it for me. That's what I'm striving for. That image. And when I attain that, I feel like it's definitely going to explode into something more. Like I said, because each level you get to, it only propels you into a new one if it's something that you're passionate about. So I'm curious to see where we end up with it all.
Listen, I know I'm just waiting. Once y'all get it all like going and started,
Yeah.
I'm gonna come up here with a little basket. Hey guys, how y'all
Yes.
doing? And just picking stuff.
Yes.
This is all
Yeah,
this
just pick
is.
away. And that's what I told him. I'm like, we're going to have so much each season. We have to send care packages to our family. And because I think about my grandmother, she loves eating cucumbers and tomatoes. She'll like chop up an onion,
Hmm.
like a red onion, and cucumber and tomatoes, and put her vinegar, salt, and stuff on there. And I'm like, I want her to be able to make that cucumber salad with something from my garden and
Right.
to have her enjoy that, and be able to send like packages out to my family in the city with like fresh yams from my garden and potatoes and stuff like that and have them rave about it. Oh, this was the best. And I'm like, yay! Oh, but just to be able to provide them with like farm fresh food, that's gonna mean a lot to me.
Yeah.
So the fulfillment aspect of it all is worth all the work.
Yeah. And I think it'll mean a lot to them as well.
Yes, they'll be very happy. My grandmother already, she comments on like my TikTok videos or when I share them on Facebook. She's just like, "Oh, that's so good! You got growing hands like your great grandmama." And I'm like, "Yeah!" Like I had no idea. This is my first time growing things, and my dining room is full. I never thought that like I would see corn growing in my house.
Hmm.
You know what I
Hmm.
mean? And I keep the windows up so they can breathe, and just noticing like the air quality is different because I got a bunch of plants in here. Like, like it's a bunch of plants. Everything's green. It's beautiful to look at. The kids, they love it. Now the next steps is just like moving them outside because, of course,
Right.
the plants start getting bigger. They need to get outside. They need more soil. They need more exposure to sunlight and air and the bugs and stuff like that. So, looking forward to that next phase, but this is our start, and I'll be more than happy to come and update you on how things are going.
Thank you. Please do keep me updated, and I look forward to watching your journey on YouTube, on, on no,
On
because
TikTok,
like
yes.
on TikTok and YouTube because it's you're inspiring others, right? And no, you don't know all of about gardening, homesteading, or whatever, but what you do know you're sharing, and then you're going through the process of I don't know this, but let's see what happens,
Right.
because it's I'll relate more to someone like you than someone who is like, all right, this is how you do this and that. It's like,
Right.
you need a little bit of both. You need someone who,
Yes.
you know what I'm saying? So it's just like, okay, okay, this is what Joanne was talking about. This what happened to her
Right.
plant. This is why it didn't grow. So I know next time to do this. And I look at my friend Cade's page. Okay, this is what he said to do. This is what
Right.
so you need a balance of, and that's life.
That's
So
so true. And that's so true because I do have like a mix of YouTubers that I watch that started out with like I'm living in my apartment, or there's a I think his name is Just Alex. He's on YouTube and lives in Europe, but he was like, I'm thinking about growing food, and he took over his dad's backyard and started growing little things here and there. And then he asked his dad, can he just take up his whole garden? And he let him do it, and he pulled up everything. He really pulled me into growing food.
mhm,
And I saw him like pull up the whole garden and just like figure out, okay, what do I need to grow? What do we like the most?
right,
When do I need to grow it? How many plants do I need of each? Like he put everything down in a notebook. He like mapped everything out, and I'm like, that's the level of organization and planning that I need to have. But he just knew like, okay, this is something that I can do, and he set out to do it. And then I watched him get his own place and get his own garden. I watched him
mhm,
go out and fish for lunch and grab some fish and pull some food from his garden and make lunch. I'm like, see, that's what I need. How can we get a pond? Can we get a private pond? Like, what do we need to get a pond now? Because now I need to fish for lunch. Um, but yes, just like seeing his journey with that, starting out with nothing, just watching all his
right,
videos. So I'm like, okay, from start to finish, like, what was his first video? And now I'm like fully invested in his journey to see, where he went with things. And that was really inspiring. Then there's like Kelly Kim, who I watch. She grows in containers. She even has her own line of containers that she uses. And she's like a gardening pro, right? So all my tips and tricks, if something is going wrong, or if I need to know like what's the next step of something, I'm going to go to her page and see, okay, so I'm growing jalapenos in containers. What do I need to do to make them get bigger? Or my seedlings are ready to be transplanting. How I need to do that, right? And then there's a homesteading page. Our Freedom Song is a black family that lives in South Carolina, and I watch her family. They're just amazing, helping her get the garden together. How she repurposes different furniture pieces to create what she wants. Like she made a greenhouse out of like random windows. Her husband built it for her. And it's absolutely beautiful. Like it's beautiful. They salvaged some windows from wherever and they put it together, made a greenhouse, and that's what she works out of. There was a file cabinet that she turned up on his back and made it planters for the border of her house. Like that's dope to me. Like repurposing
yeah,
things and made it fashion because it looked good. It was that was really inspiring. There's also Epic Gardeners. Like he's a gardening pro. So I'll just watch to see how he like landscapes and sets things up. He'll tell you like companion gardens, which you should grow with the other
mm,
plants, like what you can use to deter pests. I'm just like, there's so many people out here sharing information. Like sometimes it could feel intimidating, like, well, I don't have too much to offer, but I do because I've absorbed what they have. I've been through my own trials and tribulations with my plants, and that's something to start with. So now I gotta go set up a YouTube
yep.
page.
Now you gotta do it. You gotta do it. You have to do it.
Yes, okay, I'm gonna set up a YouTube page.
Gotta do it.
It gets
You do
started
it.
on that. That should be fun. I think it's the editing that I'm just like, oh God, like what? That's the work, right?
Yeah,
So maybe I'll take a YouTube course in editing YouTube videos.
yeah. Listen, you'll be fine. You
Yes.
know, Trim out the front, trim out the back, slice some stuff together. Bam,
Yes.
you got a video.
And that's another thing I noticed. Like when people first started posting their videos were not amazing. They were good, they were
Right,
watchable, but the content was compelling, so you keep watching. And then as they go on, the videos get better, the editing gets better, the sound quality gets better. So it's like, okay, well, you got to start with what you have. Like I said, if you're scared to
right,
do it, just do it scared.
right. Listen. That's what I would do with everything. I don't know what I'm doing. I would just do this thing.
Yes, just
But
start, right?
just start. You know what? I know you're on vacation, so I don't want to hold you. But what advice would you give yourself a year ago, 2 years ago? You're like, hey, I'm thinking about gardening. What advice would you give to someone who's thinking about it but hasn't started yet? I know, just start. But what
No, just
other?
start number one. Know what would know what it is that you want to eat. Recently, I
Mm.
told you that I started growing strawberries because my son loves strawberries. Like if he'll try to open a refrigerator to find strawberries, he loves them. So I'm like, we need more of the stuff that we like to eat. Like growing a bunch of squash. Nobody in the house eats squash but me. So nobody's really gonna want to eat that like that. But
Mm-hmm.
I grew it because I could. I wanted to see if I could grow it, right?
Right.
So it's like, decide what you eat the most. What are you buying the most, and try to replace it with what you want to grow. If you tomatoes is an easy thing, but if you like cucumbers, if you like salads, grow lettuce. And that's easy, to start in the house. Get a nice sized pot and grow your lettuce. So you could just go over there and pick it off anytime you want a salad. So I guess take inventory of what you eat regularly and just try to replace it with your garden, and then go from there. And it will be very hard to stop. Start with that.
That's right, because I'm growing lettuce, tomatoes. I eat a lot of
Yeah.
salad, so I'm
Yes.
growing that stuff, growing those vegetables. Oh man, thank you so much for talking to me, taking time out of
Yes.
your vacation to chat with me. I look forward to watching your journey unfold on YouTube.
Yes.
I'm watching it on TikTok already. All right,
Yes.
I'm
Okay,
watching it
we're
on
gonna get more
YouTube.
expansive on the YouTube.
Yes,
Thank you.
I got yes, and yeah, I'm just looking forward to it, and I know you'll find the perfect for you, the perfect uh land, or
Yes.
yeah, land for your homesteading,
Yes.
because I know that's what you guys are working towards, and I'm looking forward to coming up there. Like I said, wherever you guys are, I'm coming over. Shucks, I'm coming over before y'all even get to homesteading. All right,
Now that's what I want to
I owe
hear.
y'all a visit. I owe y'all a visit anyway, but I'm
Yes.
gonna come over.
That's what I want to hear. Cause I'm like, well, you ain't gotta wait. You can come now.
Okay.
Yes. I asked him literally like, so what's up with Tasia? Where she been at? I should do it. Ain't heard nothing about her for a while now. What's going on? But no,
Listen,
yes, definitely you owe us a visit. But of course, once we get settled and stuff, we will love to have you out. And bring your bike.
oh, okay. Yes, I'll bike to your house.
I don't know about that. Now if you could do that, I will have to get me a bike because that's gonna be inspiring.
Listen, all right then. Listen, all right. You gonna get another hobby?
Listen, I need it, okay? So that ain't gonna be a bad thing. But yes, no, thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed sharing this passion with you. I could talk about it all day, honestly. Like, I have to catch myself sometime because everyone's not as enthusiastic or passionate about it as I am. So it's like, you start nerding out a bit.
Yeah. Listen, I understand. I understand completely.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your vacation. Tell everybody I said
Thanks.
hello,
I sure
and
will.
I'm looking forward to subscribing to your YouTube channel. And tell the people where they can find you on
Sure.
TikTok.
You can find me on TikTok at the underscore Joanne underscore K. And my YouTube will be the same thing.
Hey, make it easy for them. Make it easy for
Yes, gotta
them.
make it plain, right? All right, so I'll talk to you soon. Take care.
All right. All right.
All right.
This is the Rolling with Tay podcast. I'm your host, Tasia, aka Tay. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment.